There was talk today of the NDIS particularly, and not just Labor but others as well, seizing on one word Scott Morrison said last night.
Yes, he said he was blessed, he and Jenny, his wife, were blessed that they'd had healthy children. He said this to a woman who was complaining about NDIS cuts and she had an autistic son. And I think even the PM pretty much half admitted today this was somewhat of a gaffe, or it came out insensitively. People, including Dylan Alcott, the Australian of the Year, took some offence to this, and Scott Morrison was forced to speak to him about it, make a telephone call to him. So let's hear the exchange last night first.
Jenny and I have been blessed. We've got two children that haven't had to go through that. And so for parents with children who are disabled, I can only try and understand your aspirations for those children. And I think that is the beauty of the National Disability Insurance Scheme.
And now here's Scott Morrison apologising to anyone who might be offended, but pleading that he in no way meant any offence or what people think he meant in terms of what he was saying.
Every single child is precious and a blessing to every single parent. And I don't think that is in dispute. And I don't think anyone would seriously think that I had intent of anything different to that. But I can appreciate, particularly with some of the ways it was communicated and the way it was sought to be represented by our political opponents in the middle of an election, that it could have been taken in a different context. And I'm deeply sorry about that.
Just finally, of course, we had the all-important verdict from last night's People's Forum, but it's not as though the two leaders, I guess, take the voters' words for it or the final tallied numbers.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? It feels like Scott Morrison's had to do a bit of cleaning up today after this debate. Probably on both turnbacks, Anthony Albanese's had to do a little bit himself. Perhaps that's why it was close to a tie. So Trudy McIntosh asked the Prime Minister, why are there so many undecided? Why did the audience put Anthony Albanese ahead of you?
Last night, more voters in the room picked Anthony Albanese over you. A quarter remained undecided after that hour. What does that say about your chances after last week's gaffes from Anthony Albanese and a double barrel? If you don't win, will you stand down as Liberal leader?
What it says is there's 4.5 weeks to go in this election, and Australians are looking carefully, and many of them haven't made up their mind. And they will be making up their mind over the next 4.5 weeks. What they do know is what they don't know about Anthony Albanese, what they don't know about his plan.
All right, Andrew, Clennell, still fascinating to see how the reverberations from that People's Forum will let you get back on the bus and talk to you next hour.
Thanks, Tom.